So I've played Village Green Golf Course in Mundelein. And listen, I'm going to be honest with you, the way only someone who actually played it can be honest. It's flat. It's not going to make your Instagram look like Augusta. Nobody is posting their Village Green scorecard on social media with the caption, "Bucket list complete." There are porta potties on the course, plural. The clubhouse is charming in a very modest, unpretentious way. And the layout, back and forth, back and forth. It's basically an 18-hole version of walking up and down your driveway. But here's the thing, and I mean this. I loved playing that course because it's wide open, which means I can just absolutely unload my driver without worrying about losing balls in the woods. And the price, genuinely embarrassingly cheap. Like, take your dad and two friends and you're still spending less than dinner cheap. So when I started hearing that there was some crazy story behind Village Green, I had to know. And what I found out is that this unassuming, flat, par 70 public course in Mundelein, this place with the porta potties, has one of the strangest ownership stories in the history of Lake County golf. A school district bought it, not as a joke, for $8.4 million, and then just let people keep playing golf on it for 20 years while arguing about what to do with it. And then it closed last September, forever. Let's go through this properly because the story deserves it. Thanks go out to Mr. Neven for bringing this one to my attention. Village Green Golf Course opened in Mundelein in 1962. For over 6 decades, it was a staple for value-conscious golfers in Lake County, kind of like me. But the designer of Village Green wasn't just some guy with a measuring tape and a dream. The course was designed by Ray Didier, who had been the former superintendent of Tam O'Shanter Country Club during its tournament hosting heydays. Now, if you don't know the name Tam O'Shanter, let me catch you up, because Tam O'Shanter isn't just a name. It's one of the most historically significant golf venues in American history. Under the ownership of George S. May, Tam O'Shanter hosted the PGA Tour's All-American Open from 1941 to 1957, and the World Championship of Golf from 1946 to 1957. And in 1953, in what was one of the greatest moments in golf history, May's associate approved the presence of television cameras at the World Championship of Golf, marking the first time that golf was ever viewed live on American television. You can still stand on the very spot where Lou Warsham holed out a wedge from 104 yards to win the World Championship of Golf over Chandler Harper by 1 stroke, the most dramatic shot in that first ever televised tournament. The course hosted Ben Hogan, Sam Snead, Byron Nelson, Arnold Palmer, Babe Zaharias, the legends of the game, and Ray Didier, the superintendent, was a man keeping that hallowed ground in shape while those legends walked it. A found Toro magazine advertisement from that era features former Tam O'Shanter superintendent Ray Didier alongside Nelson, Snead, Hogan, and 2 turf peers. Didier prepared that legendary course for numerous tournaments with that trio in the field. And then, after attending to the greens where golf was literally changing American culture, Ray Didier went up to Mundelein, Illinois, and designed a quiet little flat public course that would eventually host porta potties on the 3rd hole. There's a metaphor there somewhere. I'm going to leave that alone right now. Playing just over 6,000 yards, Village Green was an 18-hole, par 70 back and forth layout featuring a handful of strategically placed bunkers, 2 water hazards, and 1 drainage creek. Red tees played to 5,693 yards, while the white tees measured 6,018 yards. Hardwood and evergreen trees acted as separation between the parallel fairways. 6,000 yards, par 70, back and forth. And the trees between the fairways are there because the holes run parallel, meaning on any given round, you're absolutely going to watch someone on the neighboring fairway sneeze and send a ball in your direction. Multiple reviewers noted the course layout is tight with balls flying between adjacent holes, and cautioned you that you really need to watch out for errant shots from the neighboring fairway. Probably from me. One reviewer mentioned this diplomatically, another was less diplomatic, and both were right. This is the kind of course where you shout 4 not because you hit it badly, but just as a courtesy to the people in the next hole who didn't ask to be involved in your round. But for all of that, the flat terrain, parallel fairways, the total absence of drama or mountain views, people loved it. They loved it because it was affordable, accessible, and genuinely fun. One golfer put it this way: it's affordable and open when most other courses are closed. If there's a warm enough day to play in the winter and there's no snow, I know I have somewhere to play. That's Village Green in a sentence. It was the course that was always there for you. No pretension, no dress code anxiety, just 18 holes, a reasonable green fee, and the freedom to swing away. Here is where the story goes completely off the rails. In the early 2000s, Mundelein High School is looking at projected enrollment numbers for the area. The projections say the student population is going to boom. We're going to need more space, maybe a second campus. We need to secure land now before the prices go up. So Mundelein High School District 120 does what any reasonable institution would do when it needs land. It buys a golf course. The district paid $8.4 million for the 94-acre site in 2004. At the time, enrollment was expected to increase dramatically, and officials thought they might need land for a second campus. $8.4 million of taxpayer money for a golf course in Mundelein because of student enrollment prediction. Now, to be fair, this kind of land banking is not insane. Municipalities and school districts do this. You buy land while it's available before someone builds houses on it. Smart, proactive, forward-thinking planning, except those population projections did not pan out. The student population didn't increase as predicted and leveled off at about 2,000 students annually. The boom never came. The enrollment plateau arrived instead, and suddenly Mundelein High School District 120 is sitting on a 94-acre golf course that it spent $8.4 million on with no plan and no pressing need for a second school. So naturally, because what else would you do, the school board finalized a lease with Golf Visions Management Corporation to run the nearby Village Green Country Club. The agreement let the school district maintain ownership of the 92-acre site even as golfers played its 18-hole course. The school board, in its wisdom, essentially said, "We don't need a school here, just keep playing the golf. We'll figure it out later." And golfers, bless their hearts, said, "Sounds great. What's the tee time?" For the next 20 years, Village Green Golf Course existed in what one golf publication accurately called Civic Purgatory. The school district kept trying to sell it. Developers kept circling. Plans kept collapsing. And all the while, golfers kept teeing off on land owned by a high school. The course has essentially been in limbo for the last 30 years with little investment or upkeep. Since 2007, Golf Visions has managed operations, but the long-term future of the course has been the subject of on-again, off-again sales efforts. From rejected rezoning plans in the 1990s to abandoned redevelopment proposals as recent as 2019. Village Green has existed in a kind of civic purgatory. It may well be the only course in the country owned by a high school. The only course in the country. Let that marinate for a minute. Here's what the sales saga looked like in practice. In 2017, the district finally decided to put the property on the market. The district's minimum asking price was $65,000 per acre, a figure that could have brought in at least $6 million. Officials expected a home builder would buy the land. But then they had to restart the entire bidding process because potential buyers said they didn't have enough time to review the village's building regulations and craft proper offers. Fine, start over. Eventually, a home builder named M.I. Homes showed up with an actual offer, and the offer was $3.3 million for a 50-acre section, or $6.1 million for the entire sale. Do you remember what the school district paid? $8.4 million. So the only serious offer they got was for either $2.3 million less than they paid, or nearly $5 million less if they only sold half of it. Board members didn't want to take a multi-million-dollar loss on the property. The question is, what's in the best interest of the school district, one board member said. And losing money is not in the best interest of any school district. So they rejected the offer. They kept the golf course, and Golf Visions kept managing it. And the golfers kept showing up. This is essentially the plot of a movie where someone inherits a building and can't figure out what to do with it, so they just leave the existing tenants in there indefinitely while they argue about the future. Except in this case, the building is a golf course, so the tenants pay with green fees, and the landlord is a school board. Village Green's golf course last day was September 14th, 2025. The carts were back in the stable one last time. The course posted, "Thank you to our golfers for all the wonderful memories and your loyal." That was it. Over, done. Apparently there was something missing. Part of the sign came off or was never really finished. That was it. It was over. It was done. After more than 60 years of rounds, after 2 decades of ownership limbo, after rejected bids and restarted bidding processes, and a global pandemic and a farewell scramble on August 23rd, the carts went into the stable one final time. Village Green will now join Indian Valley and Four Winds as golf facilities with the 60060 zip code that have closed in the past 3 decades. 3 courses gone from the same zip code in 30 years. If you play golf in this area, that stings a little bit. And for the golfers who loved it most, the ones who played it on warm December days when everywhere else was closed, the seniors who walked the flat terrain because their knees appreciated the absence of hills, the beginners who liked the wide open fairways, there's nothing dramatic left to say. The course they loved is being converted into something else, whatever the school district eventually decides that is. Here's what I keep coming back to. Village Green Golf Course was never supposed to be remarkable. It was a flat, affordable 18-hole public course in Mundelein, designed in the early 1960s by a man who had maintained some of the most legendary turf in American golf history. and chose to build something simple and accessible with his knowledge. And for 63 years, that's exactly what it was, nothing more, nothing less. A place where people who couldn't afford the fancy courses and didn't care about the fancy courses could show up, pay a modest fee, let their driver fly on the wide open fairways, and enjoy 18 holes without anyone making them feel like they didn't belong. That's not a mediocre legacy. That's actually a pretty good one. The story of Village Green isn't really about the school district's miscalculation or the failed bids or the rezoning debates. Those are the plot. The story is about what the place was for the people who played it. A safe place to be a golfer, a cheap round when everything else was booked or too expensive. A course that never asked much of you and gave back exactly what you needed. I'm glad I played it when I could, and I hope whoever ends up with that 94 acres does something that serves the community half as well as the golf course did.
Disney World, the most magical place on Earth and one of the most expensive.
The tickets are just too expensive this year.
We really want to take the kids, though.
Tickets, hotels, dining, the costs add up fast. But what if you could experience all the magic without the financial stress? Introducing Just the Essential Disney Hacks, the insider guide packed with proven tips to slash ticket costs, score the best hotel deals, beat the crowds, and dine like royalty on a budget. From your very first booking to your last ride of the day, every hack, every shortcut you need to make your Disney dream a reality. Available now on Amazon in paperback, Kindle, and audiobook. Your magical vacation starts here.